Good morning. This is Babanu speaking about the amuletic jewelry. This is my EAVC line project. It's a project. I had started testing it um, around 2012 is when I was instructed by the deity Baphomet to do the full set, which was just the ALLAH. That's all I was told by him. And my ancestors got involved and they explained to me fully what he was saying and why. A lot of people have the perception that Baphomet is an evil person, being, or deity. Baphomet was a high priest and a yogi that lived in Babylon, and they didn't respect him. He was very, very light skinned. In fact, he looked European. I consider him to be a European. That's how he looked. That's how he looks. And he wasn't being respected. And he too was instructed to put the amulets on your ankles, on your wrists, and on your neck. That's the minimum for the instruction. Now, when you buy most jewelry like chains, you would find that they have very small clip. And for people who have had the experience of a family life, maybe 5 years old, 8, 10 years old, you would know that someone puts your chain on for you. It's very difficult for you to put your chain on by yourself. I was able to get it done. My fingernails would be a specific length. They have small clips purposefully, not only because bigger clips are better for amulets, but also to let people know that family life is one of the biggest forms of protection. So, what you have running through Western civilization is a mystery system that is unconsciously or indirectly inspiring you with certain behaviors. So, you know, a lot of my amulets, I actually pop them because I'm trying to, take them off and they're in my shirt and stuff like that. It is not usually that I'm being attacked in witchcraft and stuff like that is causing them to break. Is that I test them like rigorously, you know, to get to the point of seeing, you know, how really how much you can go through with them. You want to be able to sleep with them, etc. So when they pop, if that happens, you know, and the chain itself breaks, that is usually um, uh, an outside force that you are close with. Someone that is able to violate your space because you developed a close relationship with them. But you will find that in those cases, only certain type of chains pop. And like if that doesn't happen, you won't know. So one of the things that I've seen with the amulets is that, you get the right chain, you build it right. You don't want to make it perfect because you want to know who is messing with you. So mine got to the point where people were actually breaking them and they would come back together. Like that's how powerful it is. So also you would find that 99.9% of the times your amulets will break when you are home or in a space where none of the beads can be lost if they come off. Like just, pay attention because the amulet itself, it doesn't want to be lost. Each bead is a being. It doesn't want to be separated from you. So there are things that will happen. So, when I was using the paper clip to bind them, it got increasingly more difficult and more difficult and more difficult. It was insane. Like it didn't want to be put together that strong. Like that has to be done like from the factory level, you know? Or you could use like a soldering iron, which has to heat that metal so hot that it could melt into each other. Because if you use the solder formula, it's very weak. You can break it. So you see that I have like steel clips, and to separate those steel clips, you is like you need some muscular strength to separate those steel clips. So just pay attention. Um, these are, if you're looking at the necklaces now that I have, and you're seeing that they have like this shine, that's because they have been activated. So when you're selling this type of jewelry or you're giving it to other people, you have to keep it for a while until the being in there gets powerful enough. So you should have a storage of amulets. And this was an issue with the other person that I was getting them made from. But the last amulet, and I'm not trying to make Divine look bad, when it broke, I said Divine is trying to show me something. Because when it broke, it separated into two and I put it in each shoe. And it's a whole nother experience, meaning that I mean, you could just have beads with the deities in your shoes, but it's more likely that they will be lost. So if they're strung together, the way that Divine makes them, not like these, this is like a different type. The way that he makes them, if you break it, you still have the beads, wrapped around that silver wire. So you could break it in two and like put it in your sock. Try that. So for everyone, I know a lot of people's amulets didn't break that were made by Divine because I didn't get a lot of calls. I only got about 2 calls. And these 2 people were under serious attack. If more people's amulets had broken, um, Joel at least should have told me. So I really do assume that a lot of people's amulets didn't break. But I'm letting you know that there's stuff like with the type that Divine makes that you could break them and put them into different places. Not to break them and sell different pieces, but to use for yourself. So you find that like when your feet presses into that silver and that bead, and you get that little bit of pain, power is released. So I was told that I would be completing. So I've completed necro walking. And the completion of necro walking is literally walking on the necros, where they are puncturing, where they are putting pressure on the bottom of your feet. Now, if you study like Chinese medicine, they have a chart of your feet and the different parts of the feet that connect to your body. Then you know that the next level is to, buy like those insoles, those gel insoles, and dig little holes in them and stick the beads in the gel insoles. So you need to know that this system is advanced, and that humanity was way more advanced before with wearing footwear and suits and different types of garments that facilitated the use of amuletic jewelry. And yeah, the teleportation is real. I really can't deny it. It's just too obvious now. I really have to be careful where I am going because I move quickly. and in like two seconds, three blocks are gone. I'm like, what the hell happened? It happened again today. Peace.